Live from the Cactus Creek at Ibri, he is the king of prime time, Ghana's undisputed entertainment laureate, and still the youngest old man in Ghana. Put your hands together, show some love for the indefatigable KSM.
It's the KSM Show.
Yay! Oh my goodness! I'm so excited, man. I'm very, very excited. I'm doing sort of a continuation with something I started long ago. Remember, there was this great book. It was called The UT Story 1. Written, of course, by my good friend PKA. And I'll tell you who PKA is. If you don't know, stick around. But before we start this week, I want you to take a look at this one. Just take a look before we go into a commercial break. Look at this. Did this scare you at any point when you go into the barracks? And in your book, and I don't want to give anything away, but you had a very interesting encounter, and you were like, hey, now you were still had a civilian mentality.
Yeah, I just said, man, if this is how you're going to behave, I'm going to walk back. and they thought you are crazy. I said, why? I came here on my own, so I mean, I can always walk back. No. Once you land, you're finished.
Finished.
Yeah. And that's how I said in the book, you know, they said I should carry my box on my head. I said, no, I can manage. What are you talking about? And then the guy started shouting. I said, no, this is an order. And then I looked ahead of me and saw a mate of mine, a mate from university, carrying his box and doubling. I said, hey, Jesus, I'm abandoning there. So I had to carry my box. And that was the beginning of it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, that was UT1. UT Story 1. Today we're going to listen to UT Story 2. So show some love, man. Put your hands together. Show some love for my good friend, PKA or Prince Kofi Amoabeng. Hey, my man. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you anytime.
Oh.
Festival. Thank you.
PKA is in the house. We're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, UT Story 2. We'll be right back. Before I start, I want to wish a very, very, very belated happy birthday to a very, very special couple. The man is called Anthony Abosumpim Mensah, a.k.a. Abos. Abos. You have to say it 3 times. Abos. And he's married to a wonderful lady, Amma Nketiaba Mensah, or Sister Amma, at the race course market. Now, you know, these couple, they have their birthday on the same day. They celebrated their birthday on the 1st of March. Hey, Abos, we your due diligence, now go tune on the same day as your birthday. Abos. Anyway, happy birthday to the both of you, and I wish you all very, very well. And you're wondering why I'm wishing them a happy birthday? Well, they happen to be the parents of my great director, Hannah Akomensah. And by the way, happy birthday to Ghana as well. Ghana will be turning 66 very, very shortly. So happy birthday to Ghana. I keep wondering though, I didn't want a celebrity. If you are turning 66, well, whatever. All I know is we have given the baton to you young guys, so so baton we. Why? Jantum Anyesa. And on the 6th of March, you know this song, great song, man. On the 6th of March, I have a new song for Cactus Creek. Yeah, locals and grills and fufu babio, goat light soup and things, man, ampesier and whatever you can think of. 6 March, at Cactus Creek.
Cactus Creek. It is no longer Ghana's best kept secret. It's an open secret. So serene, so heavenly. And the meals? Just like home cooking. Cactus Creek. Your soul will thank you. Call or WhatsApp 055-039-5007.
Let me tell you something. When you take your stuff to the laundry, some of the complaints you get is a missing button, some stain on the thing. all sorts of things. But with Cabell, you can bet you're going to get a quality job done. Send your stuff to Cabell. If you want to reach them on their hotline, the number is 050-139-4546. So call Cabell Dry Cleaning Service. Is always clean and crisp.
Good news for you. If you're in Takoradi and its environs, don't worry. You can pick up a Zipper Essentials jacket at Ruler Unisex Boutique in Anaji, Takoradi, Queen of Peace in Takofo Road. Call or WhatsApp 0544 548766.
Paul's Fitness Center, the premier destination. Meet the indefatigable captain.
There are 3 things that I love doing. Number 1, workout. Number 2, workout. Number 3, workout. Workout put mind, soul, and body together.
The captain has spoken.
We're getting busy. Bright lights, yeah, they make me dizzy. Logo Liggy. I just want the Lizzie. It's a Logo Liggy. Uptown, chasing for the Lizzie. Downtown, everybody busy. Logo Liggy. Life be Logo Liggy. I just want the
Paul's Fitness Center, East Legon Branch, Lizzie Sports Complex, Cotton Street, East Legon, Accra, Ghana, 0302 519 675. Kumasi branches, Officers Mess Branch, Denyame, Major Kobina Drive, Kumasi 0541 871 602. Golden Tulip Kumasi City Branch, Rain Tree Street 0322 492 647. Paul's, the premier destination for fitness in Ghana.
Say what lie we for around town.
The KSM Show.
Yeah, we're back. And what you saw on the center of the screen was the UT story, Volume 1, The Humble Beginnings. Totally amazing. Now today we are talking about Volume 2. And this is called Building a Winning Team. And folks, I am so honored to have in the studio here the man who built and is still building a winning team, PKA, or Prince Kofi Amoabeng. Please welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, yes.
My goodness.
Who?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know where to start to, So let me rewind small and go to UT, The Humble Beginnings.
Yeah.
That was more of a focus on you and your hustles and what you went through to put UT together. The beginnings.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, it starts with my national service days. When I was messing up my life and all kinds of things.
Yes.
And then I took a decision to get some discipline by going to the army, which changed my life completely and made me a disciplined person, an officer, and a gentleman. And then it was cut short. And then by default, I started doing business with my next door neighbor. And for 15 years, I was doing all kinds of businesses until, due to problems, hardship, misunderstanding, and all those things, I got frustrated and I started Unique Trust Financial Services. And the early days of Unique Trust Financial Services also talks about the hustle, trying to form a new company, raising funds, how to contain expenses, how to manage your people, how to keep your customers, how to make a bit of profit and grow the business. So that is cool. With
it was one amazing story after one amazing story. Yeah. Folks, in case you didn't get it, please make sure you get yourself a copy of that book. It's the UT story, Volume 1, The Humble Beginnings. It's totally amazing. And when you finish, then gradually graduate to Volume 2. Today we are talking about Volume 2, Kofi.
Yeah, can I say this?
Sure, go ahead.
Originally, when me and George were talking about a book, we were talking about a book.
Oh, you wanted a book?
A book on the UT story. And then when we started, George came to me and said, "I can't see what to throw out of all the things that happened. Therefore, we should think about doing 2 books, which was supposed to cover the beginning, the building a winning team, and then the bank. So 2 books to cover the 2. But then he came to me again and said, listen, there's so much to be told about UT Financial Services itself before the banks come into being. So we have to shelve the bank for the next book.
Next one.
So there's a book 2, which is this one, and there's going to be a book 3, which is basically the formation of the bank, what happened, and what went wrong, and the collapse of the bank. And,
so that's coming in the 3.
That is coming.
Okay.
As book 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Show some love, man. Kofi, this book, and folks, here is the book. You know, I'm sure you're seeing it now. The UT Story, Volume 2, and it's called Building a Winning Team. Trust me, this book, once you start, will be fun to hold. But here's the thing, Kofi. I was so impressed with the story and how you started off from the humble beginnings to this, and how you were expanding leaps and bounds. I was like, wow. And then how all of that ended. And then for a minute I said, am I supposed to be enjoying this, or is it a sad story? I didn't know how to take it, Kofi, honestly. So let me ask you this. Going back to the humble beginnings, to where you got to, we won't get to the part 3 yet, but how do you feel so far? Because this story is the story of the growth from a startup to a huge company. How do you feel now? When I was reading it, I told my wife, I don't know whether, I said, Kofi looks strong. Nipa de Tempia, Kofi Tempia smile, but I don't know, somewhere along the line, I believe he's hurting. That's what I told her. I said, we are sure. I said, I don't know, because what this book tells you he did and what he has been through, how are you handling it, Kofi? Are you that big as we see it, or in your private moments?
No. Currently, how I feel is I feel I'm on a mission, on a crusade to leave a legacy. The first book, second book, and third book is actually to leave a legacy for the youth and for up-and-coming leaders and people who want to build businesses. And I think it's so important, because everything starts with the leadership. The leadership is the cause. Everything else is an effect. So unless we get the leadership right in our institution and in our homes and everything, and unfortunately, Africa's leadership is failing or has failed. But I think I want to say it's failing, then you have a bit of hope. Because in our homes, some parents are not even there to raise the kids. In some cases, the kids rather are looking after the parents. And then even in the well-to-do homes, you have parents who are buying questions to give to their kids. It's become the norm, parents paying to get their kids into schools. So leadership, even in the home, is failing and failing fast. It never used to be the case when we were younger. Then you have failure of leadership in businesses. In businesses, because people are favored promotion, appointment, too much interference on who to employ and all those things. And if you're a boss, you want to sleep with this lady, otherwise you will sack, all sort of things. So again, leadership is failing big time. Then you have leadership failing in churches. I don't think we have to say about it. When somebody can stamp on somebody's pregnant woman's stomach, I mean, what kind of leadership is that? But that's a different thing. Then even leadership is failing in chieftaincy, because leadership requires belief in God, respect for the people you are leading, and humility. And we don't find that in chieftaincy. We don't find that in politics. As soon as you win and come to the top, it means that you should just rubbish all the other people. You don't care for them, you have no respect for their feelings, and you do whatever you like, and you are not supposed to be challenged. So I'm dedicating this, because if Ghana would change, we must have the kind of leadership that will cause the change. And it must come from the very top, as in the president, who is cracking whip and who is loving his people and driving his people to the right place. So I will not give up, because there's a story that I told, if I may say briefly. When I was young, my father was my best friend. And we used to drink, we used to go out and do all sorts of things. My dad. One day he said, Kofi, there's a story I have to tell you. And I said, which story haven't we talked about? He said, no. Your grandfather, that's his father, told him that when Ghana was agitating for independence, he alone, as my grandfather, fought against it, but he lost because he said, if the black man leaves, if the white man leaves, the black man cannot develop his fellow black people. And he was rich and he was a royal, so he could get somewhere with his stance. Now, the agitation was too high, the enthusiasm was too high, so I mean they rubbished him. And then when he was about to die, he told my father that yeah, obibini se obedi ne ho so a me de menyi ni se be.
That's what he told your father?
Yeah, he told my father. So he said, me di kan wa samando na oba na we catch us and I'm right and I'm wrong.
Wow.
So once I was drinking with my father said, Asemo who I said, Una na ye di nkunimu. My grandmother is winning because the story I'm going to tell him is really negative, that we are messing up. Because he has seen institutions and strategies breaking down. So he said, but don't worry, I will go and tell your grandfather that he should wait a bit because you might bring a different story.
Okay.
So, but 5 years ago, I was with my son, Kweku, and we were drinking in a hotel in London. I said, Kweku, sorry. He said, what? And I recited the story. I said, me too, the story I'm taking there is not good. So I'll tell them that you may bring a different story. But how would my son and your son and our children bring a different story if we do not change the narrative about leadership? That is why I'm on a mission that I will do a bit, and when I've sowed the seed, at least I'll go and tell them with some confidence that maybe I'm not in your crowd, but they are starting BB.
Yeah.
It will just say,
I get it. So basically, and also, folks, just so you know, on the day that he launched this book, by the way, that was your birthday as well. Happy birthday. Yes.
I think that's why you are in white.
That's what, yeah. You know, so it's better. And you also launched at the same time, you're launching your foundation. Yeah. Which is the
K.S.M. Amoabeng Leadership Foundation.
Leadership Foundation.
And it's actually to support the book and do direct, intentional mentoring, picking some young people up to train. Also being available for new, fresh entrepreneurs, SMEs, being there for managers of corporates and things like that, and going to tertiary institutions, which you started already, to impact leadership qualities to them. And the main thing is to change their values. It's not easy if the person has not been raised right, but you have to change the values and people to have great values and a great culture in institutions to effect that change.
Quick question, this desire to begin this whole leadership legacy that you want to leave, has it been spurred by what happened to your bank? And now you think that maybe if I set up leadership thinking, that will possibly avert some of these things that we've been through? Is there any link between what happened to the bank and this foundation?
I don't see it that way. You remember the last time we spoke on your set, I said, when things are going right, you ask yourself, God, why me? And then when things are going wrong, you ask yourself, God, what next?
I remember.
I strongly feel that God is telling a story or doing some of his tricks, because we are all pawns and that God uses to better his world. And I think with the way God made me big and successful and John Walker and all those things and what went through to the collapse of the bank, it is part of a foundation. So I'm asking myself, so what next? And I said, you have so much. And honestly, I believe if the bank had not gone down, probably we're sitting comfortably, taking some funders' monies and just enjoying life, not thinking about writing a book or forming a leadership foundation. It's part of God's plan that if the bank goes away, then I will do something like this. Leave a legacy that will keep about 1,000 years for kids, especially in Africa, and entrepreneurs and managers and leaders to actually lead and know the problems with the African before you can lead. You see, the issue is, unless you understand the people you are leading, you'll be leading them wrongly. But the issue is that Africans are different. And we are different because of too much abundance. And I tell you, God put us in the best part of the earth, best part, where even temperature differences the whole year is negligible. I mean, the climate is fantastic, vegetation is beautiful, food has always been in abundance, sunshine throughout the whole year, no snow, no tsunami, no hurricane, no tornadoes, no earthquake. This is Africa. And we've lived here for hundreds of thousands of years. Now, it's a fact that when you have things in abundance, you cease to think. And in this world, the environment shapes every living thing. The reverse or converse is also true. In this world, every living thing adapts to the environment. So when we find ourselves in this best place of abundance for so long, we develop cultures, behaviors, attitudes, and things around abundance.
So we are adapted to...
We have adapted, perfect. And it's difficult to even change because it becomes our DNA. Now let me tell you, take things like, describe the typical African. African is lazy, doesn't think beyond the day or whatever, doesn't keep time, doesn't know maintenance, is too religious, doesn't like people, disrespect people, doesn't love his neighbor. It's all these can be explained by the abundance theory. Take time. Our problem with time was how to waste time. That was our challenge.
Our challenge is how to waste
waste time. Because you wake up in the morning, you've eaten or gone to the back, found some food to eat. The food will be there next year, next 2 years, next 10 years. There's not going to be any natural disaster to worry you. So when you wake up in the morning, you've eaten, you are saying, so what do I do for night to come so I go and sleep? That was our problem. So what did we do? To give you an example, we have outdoorings that take the whole day. We have festivals that will take about 2 weeks. We have funerals that have been broken down, the day, the 1 week, the 40 days, the whatever. You have, name it. Even greeting. Some tribes, they can stand outside and be greeting for 10 minutes. Because they had nothing to do and they had too much in abundance.
So that was worrying us?
That
we didn't have enough challenges?
We didn't have challenges for us to react. So anywhere you go in this world, you find in the US, in South Africa, in London, in Germany, as soon as you get to where blacks live, you see that this is a black area. Where they throw things about anyhow. There's death, they don't care about it, and they create death and things. Because nature took care of everything for them. And these are the kind of people that you are going to lead. So you have to understand them, where they're coming from, and their traits and their habits and their behaviors and kind of cultures, and therefore the value they have. And no, it's genetic. You have a huge problem. If you don't understand it, and I made a lot of mistakes, even though not as much as other people are making. I made some mistakes by trusting people and probably not checking on other things because I felt they would do the right thing. And some of them came to bite me in the back. So you should know the kind of person the typical African is before you set out to lead these kind of people. And at UT, at King of Satire Foundation, this forms the fundamentals of the leadership thing. Once you know this, what it is, it's not about normal things that you read in the British, American textbooks. This is homegrown entrepreneurship, managers, leadership. That is what it is.
Fantastic. It's getting better, but we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be talking more about the African and leadership, and we're going to be looking at the book and some of the examples of leadership in this book, and it will blow your mind. Stick around, we'll be right back.
The KSM Show.
On the 6th of March, you know this song, great song, man. On the 6th of March, I have a new song for Cactus Creek. Yeah, locals and kwao, grills and fufu bababio, goat light soup and things, man, ampesier and whatever you can think of. 6th March, at Cactus Creek.
Cactus Creek. It is no longer Ghana's best kept secret. It's an open secret. So serene, so heavenly. And the meals? Just like home cooking. Cactus Creek. Your soul will thank you. Call or WhatsApp 055-039-5007.
Let me tell you something. When you take your stuff to the laundry, some of the complaints you get is a missing button, some stain on the thing, all sorts of things. But with Cabell, you can bet you're going to get a quality job done. Send your stuff to Cabell. If you want to reach them on their hotline, the number is 050-139-4546. So call Cabell. Dry cleaning service is always clean and crisp.
Azipa Essentials has good news for you. If you're in Takoradi and its environs, don't worry. You can pick up Azipa Essentials jacket at Ruler Unisex Boutique in Anaji, Takoradi, Queen of Peace in Takofo Road. Call or WhatsApp 0544 548766.
Pulse Fitness Center, the premier destination for fitness in Ghana. Meet the indefatigable captain.
There are 3 things that I love doing. Number 1, workout. Number 2, workout. Number 3, workout. Workout put mind, soul, and body together.
The captain has spoken.
We're getting busy. Bright lights, yeah, they make me dizzy. Logo liggy. I just want the Lizzie. It's a logo liggy. Uptown chasing for the Lizzie. Downtown, everybody busy. Logo liggy. Life be logo liggy. I just want the
Paul's Fitness Center, East Legon Branch, Lizzie Sports Complex, Cotton Street, East Legon, Accra, Ghana, 0302 519 675. Kumasi branches, Officers Mess Branch, Denyame, Major Kobina Drive, Kumasi, 0541 871 602. Golden Tulip, Kumasi City Branch, Raintree Street, 0322 492 647. Pulse, the premier destination for fitness in Ghana.
Say what lie we for around town.
The KSM Show.
Thank you, we're back. And of course, we're talking about the UT story, Volume 2, building a winning team. Kofi, it's not easy to put together a winning team. I mean, I was reading through, and some of the things that you have to do as a leader, let's start with consistency. That you were so consistent with things, and I'm trying to get to where, as a leader, do you strike a balance? Can you say, because of this situation, maybe I can adjust a little bit here, or I'm going to be consistent, even if it looks like hard and harsh? And the example that you gave here, which I was reading, was this chap who had a daughter who had a hole in her heart. And also at the same time, did some embezzlement and things. And you had promised the person that I know the situation you are in, and the company will pay to service your child's health.
Yeah, surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. And yet he did 1 or 2 things, and you fired him. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, you're being a leader, you're being consistent. But as a leader, do you get to a point where you say, yeah, me a leader, I might be consistent, but me fire now, you see the kind of dilemma I'm thinking? What does a leader do? What you did was fire him.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, even as you say it, a part of me is saying, But the point is, a leader has to lead by set rules. So you have the company's policies, regulations, structures, and everything. Leadership is not that difficult, though. If you actually apply the rules and policies and structure of the company as is documented and everybody is aware of, leadership is not difficult. So in the case of this guy, the policy was that if you should embezzle monies, it's outright dismissal. So even though we had promised to pay the expenses of the kid, he had broken the rule. Now, you don't rule with your heart.
You don't rule with your heart.
No, you rule with your head. And you should go by the policies. You see, if you keep to the policies, anytime in my leadership role, anytime I bend something small away from, it comes back to bite me. And I regret it. So the point is, first, you must abide by the rules and the policy of the company. You, the leader.
The leader.
You should lead by example. I mean, in UK, double yellow line, the Queen cannot stop on park on it. It's simple. So once the rules are there, and these are rules of the company, you, the leader, you should lead by example. 2, you should subject yourself completely to the rules and policies of the company.
The leader is not above the rules.
No, you're not. So if you know you can't comport yourself, don't approve of certain policies. Because once you put a policy in place, you must rule by it. Then the leader should love the people enough and make sure that he gets trust from the people. If they don't trust you, you are not consistent and clear. I mean, certain things happen, they say, hey, whoa. Because they know, say, this is the ultimate decision, and I'm not going to change it, and it's not going to be different. Then the leader should also have humility. It's so important. You are not above the law. That is why, for example, chieftaincy fails.
Because chiefs are above the law.
Yeah. So the leader in business and institutional leadership, the leader must be humble and not above the law. So you set the policies, you lead by example, you comport yourself and obey the policies and things like that. Stay consistent. And important for you to carry a team is to establish trust. And my team that I established trusted me. They have absolute trust in me that I will be fair. It's not going to be anything different. You know what is going to happen. And I remember at one time, we had a meeting and one of my staff said, sir, I said, why? He said, you are smiling with somebody in the morning, afternoon you have sacked that person. And I said, no, I swear, I have never sacked anybody before. They sack themselves, or the system sacks them. Not me.
You.
No, me, I've never sacked them.
I like that. I like that.
So leadership is not that difficult, but it's so difficult in Africa because we've lived in abundance and therefore we have all the facilities and things like that. A leader in business, for example, his pastor is more or less his head of HR. Where they are sorry about with her. His family members are interfering in who he employs, where he buys from. Politicians are also nudging a team because they will give him contract, and you need a contract. So you must strike the right balance. But our system here in Africa makes leadership very difficult. Take the ultimate, the president. Certainly somebody like me who is going to take me as president, because people won't identify with me. And they want somebody who will come, sika kakra, entro kakra, nada kakra, da. And then that person is the person they will identify with. But when he gets there, he must pay. He must get a payback. All the money that you people collect and all, he must, and the favors and things, he has to return it. They will be on him for him to return it. That is why leadership in Africa is difficult and is failing us.
So is it up to, for example, I'm looking at the corporate structure, the people to understand that and your leader in the AU, this is what the law says you must do. If you embezzle money, you are sacked. Yeah. But we, because of whatever our nature or heritage or something, now we it's more thing. We need to buy yare.
Yeah.
But you are saying, yeah, we buy yare. very, very critically ill. But the law says, oh, embezzler, me with it.
Yeah.
Until when your daughter is critically ill, even to the point of death, now embezzler, you still get the fireman. And you didn't do it, is the law?
Yeah. Oh, no. In fact, it was painful. It was one of the reasons I had to take that. I had to really examine myself and said, and I had held the daughter's hand in my office before.
Wow.
And when I was told that, I just bowed my head down. I said, Jesus Christ, what do I do? And I said, well, Kofi, the only thing you know how to do is to apply the system. And the fact is that, you see, when somebody goes against laid down procedures, it means that person is putting himself above all of you. He's taking his personal interest against the whole institution. So he doesn't belong. That's how I see it.
Yeah. And you put that because I think I read a part where you fired your brother
Oh, yeah.
because he was
Very normal. He wasn't-
not a big man like you. You fired him.
Yeah, he was above all of us, so he had to go home. So I told him that you go home, we'll discuss how you live, but here it won't happen. They had the Osundodo.
Wow. And that level of consistency is what you're saying is required of leadership.
Yes, then it establishes trust in you that you deliver as
no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a part also, UT was growing, in your words, leaps and bounds. And it got to a point where you guys had become so confident. You use the word hubris.
Yeah, there's a bit of hubris in it.
Yeah, there's a bit of hubris. Do you feel that happened, that you became so confident and decided to outgrow yourselves, or what happened?
Well, we're challenging the system, and you always have to be careful as to your capabilities. Now, I've read a book about anthropology, and I should have read it earlier. It says for any human endeavor, when you grow to a stage where you are about 150, you must reinvent yourself. And what happened with UT was that as we were growing, our numbers went over 150 to 200 plus. And the culture of the business was therefore getting diluted because I couldn't touch everybody. So you have to delegate. Of course, you trust that your senior people will do the same thing, love the people, and apply the same consistency and things like that. But it doesn't happen that way. Because at 150, you lose touch with the people, and the culture doesn't get to everyone. But that notwithstanding, some of the decisions that we took under UT Finance was fantastic. How we grew organically to have UT properties, UT logistics, UT private securities, UT life. It was all organic. But what I find is that some people, when they start a business successful, before you realize they want to go into gold mining, they want to go into real estate, and it has no relationship with the core business. In our case, all those institutions
were connected
exactly to the core business, and our core business was the finance house and the lending, and they all sort of brought synergies into the jobs that we're doing. So the growth was organic, and it was very successful. But then we took things also out of the country. Because we had done everything with the best non-bank financial institution by far and so on and so forth. So we said, let's even be successful in Ghana. Nigeria has the same informal structures and it's a bigger economy, so why not test the grounds there? That was hubris a bit because whilst we were going to banking, we also tried to go to Nigeria and at the same time going to South Africa. And then we also had an office in Hamburg at one time that we closed. But it made UT, it got UT to be respected, the brand to be respected even internationally. As in, a Ghanaian company started with 3 people, was able to do all these things, and the awards and recognitions and all that, with yours truly being Ghana Johnny Walker and all those things, which is a foreign company leveraging on the brand of a local company. I mean, this is huge. But of course, we went maybe a step too far at some point in time. And the government decided that, no, you guys becoming too big, too full of yourselves. So instead of probably bailing you out, we'll collapse it. And that's exactly what they did. Yeah.
I want to rewind a little bit because when the decision was made to move into Nigeria. And I was there because at that time, you were a headline sponsor for 1,000 and something laughs. I remember that day very well because I was at that concert.
Yeah.
You were in the front row. I saw you.
I was, yeah.
Yeah. Basket Month.
Basket Month, yeah,
At that time, the word was out that UT is moving to Nigeria. And you know UT, you get a loan in 48 hours.
Absolutely.
You know? And Basket Month, the joke.
Yeah.
That in Ghana, you can get a loan in 48 hours, but when you get to Nigeria, you run away in 48 hours.
We will run away in 48 hours.
Yeah.
But as we speak, UT Nigeria is still there.
It's still there?
It's not doing as much as we did, but it's still there.
Oh, wow. And that's what, 5 years now? 6 years?
No, much longer than that.
Wow.
Yeah. They had their 10th year anniversary, which I attended. Yeah. But now, we sold majority shares to Nigerian because we're having challenges and others. So we had to change and let the Nigerian own majority shares. But at least it's still there after 10 years. So Basket Month 48 hours.
It didn't work. Yeah, you've been there for.
UT is strong, or was strong.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. And the challenges. I mean, South Africa. We went there because not because we wanted to expand there, but because we had some South Africans come to us to say that they wanted to replicate our story of starting non-bank to become a bank because there was no South African black bank.
Yeah.
And that touched me a little bit. I remember sitting with a guy and I said, whole South Africa and not one black bank. So, Love for Africa, patriotism, support the black man took part of it. And we went there, was supposed to be their partners. Everything was supposed to coach out their clients. They had large base of clientele and things like that. I was okay, we'll do a joint something. And before we realized we were in South Africa. And our partners, unfortunately, did not pull their part. So we got stranded in South Africa. And it was quite expensive too. But finally, after a few mistakes and things, because the culture was completely different. So when our partners pulled out, then at some point I said I had to pull in the plug and say, let's come back home.
So Ghana and Nigeria cultures were a bit similar. What with South Africa? What was the major?
For example, South Africa, our operations, we come to your house and we take the money in a black polythene bag, we put in our car or on our motorbike, and we try that in South Africa. South Africa, they bomb ATM machines to take the small notes in it. So you dare not step out holding money. So quickly realize that the collection process was quite faulty, didn't fit. So then we tried and got a card system on which we disburse the monies to you, and then when you are paying, you pay back onto the card. But the point is, if he's paying on a card, then how do you enforce that he put the money on the card? So default was quite easy. And then the other thing is, you go to South Africa communities, and they find you loitering in the area looking for a house, they call the police and they pick you up. So they'll pick my people up and say, don't go there. Which was really different from Ghanaian setting where we come to your house even at 12 o'clock and then we come and bang the gate and we demand our money. So we had those kind of challenges and it was difficult to overcome them. But we stayed long enough, shifted the market and so on and so forth. But it still wasn't yielding the desired results, so we had to pull out.
Speaking of that, and how you're able to collect your loans, other banks were having trouble. Everybody was like, I'm not getting my money back, and UT's bank said, but why not? You had your strategy to make sure that you got paid back, to the point that even other banks were contracting you to collect their loans from them, them?
That is true. The thing is, we sat down to strategize how to lend. And we made mistakes initially, lost some monies. And I said, no, we must do things differently. And we introduced the drawing of sketches to clients' homes and the collateral at their offices. So I put my staff in the classroom. I did a bit of geography in the best school at Sadler College. And I said, I'll teach you how to sketch. So long story short, we could sketch to the client's house, to where the collateral is, and also to the offices of the client. And I have to really scan this and make sure that, yes, I know exactly where this one is before the money gets to you. So at least you couldn't run. And I had men who were dedicated to the cause. There was a time our receptionist got a client arrested in Makola, and then they called us that client we were looking for. It's because there was transparency in the company, and we all were aligned with our vision and our mission and everything. And I led the night operation. Initially, I was leading the night operations. And I led like a soldier coming for a night attack or night something. And I took my squad and we lay ambush, wait till about 12 or 1 o'clock until you come home, and then we bust into the place, and you have to bring our money. You know, and seriously, banks couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And when the Bank of Ghana asked me why they said our collection method was too harsh, I said, there's no law that says don't go to somebody's house to collect your money after working hours. There's no law. So if you like, go and change the law. Because the guy that you're trying to help takes the money, doesn't come to pay, doesn't tell you anything. You call, he won't pick. You go look for him, he doesn't even return the call, he doesn't call anything. So you want us to default with the people whose money we're giving to you. And I don't understand Ghanaians. They still think I'm the bad guy. You should sympathize with me and my team for the trouble we're going through trying to help people. That's how it should be. But
that's how we look at it.
That's how
you're trying to help people.
Yes. And those people are trying to spoil the help that people are getting. And Ghanaians don't see this.
Yeah.
And it is like that, 1,000%. That's all I see. I don't see anything else. You know. So the work wasn't difficult. So the banks were failing in collecting. There were some clients that I referred to the banks and said, this is a good client. The interest rate is not making her business too profitable. So please assist. I can give the records to show how she's been paying. As soon as they leave us and go to the banks, they start defaulting. So they come and say, Kofi, that's your good client. I say, so what are you doing to them? As for this place, they don't joke, they pay. But then they go to the banks and then they default. But again, when we became a bank, that also became our problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'd like to get into that because unfortunately our time is up here, but I had read the kakre, I think we'll do some kwe, right? So we're going to say we are breaking for now, but next week, let me have some kwe so we can get to the bottom of this. So stick around. So until next week when we continue, KSM signing off as I always do, in the same words, we are out of, let the whole world say, yeah.